Hello, everybody. It is a Wednesday. In fact, it is Wednesday, February 25th. I am your host, Tim Dennis. This is Darkness Radio and Supernatural News on a Wednesday. By gosh, it is so jam-packed full of supernatural news, you would not believe it. As a matter of fact, I have some surprising revelations for you that you wouldn't expect today. So let's just get to it, shall we? I need to bring in my co-hostess. By gosh, my co-hostess herself is a newsbreaker. I know you may say, what? Well,
exactly.
I don't know. Let me just introduce her. She's our Duchess of Death, our Mistress of the Macabre, our Princess of the Paranormal, our Merchant of the Metaphysical, our Supernatural Soul Sister. Here she is, straight from the state of Michigan, Mallie Fox. Hi, Mallie.
Hello, hello. I like the soul sister.
Yeah, the Supernatural Soul Sister.
Soul sister.
I almost did it in the frame of Soul Train, but I don't.
That's what I thought when you said it too.
I'm gonna get the Soul Train sound effect for next week. I think is what I'm gonna do. Boy, oh boy, Mel. Okay, so right off the top, I take it everything's good. Yes.
Yes, everything is great. Thank you.
I should explain to people. Last week, we both broke down physically in a hurry. And
enough
was enough, and I shut her down last week. I just shut the week down. And by the way, I want to thank everybody for all the prayers, the thoughts, the good energy and everything. Just to explain on my end very briefly, I had a piece of meat stuck in my esophagus 36 hours. Not a good thing. I explained it with Jess last week that it was there. They did the endoscopy. It messed with my throat. I would kind of coughed up some blood clots a little bit. It was not good, or, I coughed up is a nice way of putting it. But then afterwards, after I'd done the show with Jess, it didn't get any better. As a matter of fact, my throat got worse. My stomach got worse. I didn't hold down solid food until like Friday. So it was not a good week, but I got a little bit better. I got on the air Saturday. I started to come back and I'm feeling much, much better now. A week makes a lot of difference. So I'm good. On your end, Mal, you weren't feeling too good either on Tuesday.
Yeah, my sinuses were going nuts. I think it was the weather because one day it would be warm, then it was cold and rainy, and then it'd be warm again. So I think it just messed up my sinuses, and then it turned into like a really bad head cold. So yeah. Ugh.
So when actually it was a blessing when you texted me and said, I'm not feeling right. I'm like, you know what? It's an omen. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you and I are fighters. I mean, we will try and, we will muscle through.
So I had called our guest from last week and I had said, to Mary, I said, I think that's it. We're done. Can we do it next week? And she said, absolutely. I understand, especially with everything that's going on in your family. And she was most gracious. So we got everything lined up for this week. And then I got a hold of Johnny for yesterday, and holy cow, it became an explosive week.
I know. You were telling me about it. It sounds so good.
Yeah. So if you guys have listened to yesterday's show yet, holy cow, was that an interview? Talk about ironing out anything for conspiracy theorists. You got it. Straight from the horse's mouth from a guy who was there. So I don't know what more you need there. Then, are you ready for this little deal?
Okay.
I think I'm becoming less of a skeptic as I become older.
All right.
Our Olympic team, by the way, congratulations to our women and men's hockey teams for their gold medals. Exciting stuff, right?
Yes, very much so.
I struggled as to whether I was going to tell the story on air.
Okay.
But I have proof.
Proof of what?
I had a psychic revelation over the weekend.
Okay.
I actually, Mallie, predicted who would score the winning goal in overtime for the men.
Really?
Where it happened.
Okay. Did you predict he would lose his tooth?
No. But as a matter of fact, I will pull it up for you on my phone. I was texting with our friend Wayne D from Big 98 and the syndicated house party, I Heart Country house party. And Wayne and I were live texting during the game. We were watching the game together,
Mm-hmm.
bilocating, right? He's in Nashville. I'm here in Minneapolis. And we're going back and forth and talking about the game. And as you know, Wayne's the in-house announcer for the Nashville Predators. And the Nashville Predators trainer was actually the trainer for the USA hockey team.
Okay.
So we're going back and forth, talking about the game, talking about this is probably the best pro hockey game we've ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
much less amateur hockey game. And right here, Wayne is telling me hockey is the best blanking game on the planet. Closer I've gotten in the past 9 seasons. He says he's always loved football. There's nothing like hockey. We're in intermission right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, right. Blank, dude, can you stand it? I knew when it was 1-0 that it was going to a tie in overtime. And I did. I had the sense when it was 1-0, I had this dread and I go, it's going to a tie.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, 1-1, bang, bang. And I went, we're going to overtime. It's just going to overtime. Then as we go to overtime, I wrote this. Can you read that?
Yep.
What does it say?
I'm calling it now. We win 2-1. Hughes scored.
Not scores, scored.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, Mallie, and I put this on the life of my brand new little grandnephew. I saw a nameplate in my head, J. Hughes. I didn't say J. Hughes because there's 2 Hughes on the hockey team. I didn't want to be wrong,
Mm-hmm.
just in case it was Quinn Hughes.
Right. Now, isn't Quinn the one that they call like the Victorian boy that sees ghosts? Isn't that like the little running joke?
I'm not sure. He does play for the Wild, but
Right, but I think that's the joke because he always has like this gaze,
yeah, yeah.
like where it looks like he's seeing a ghost. I think
Yeah,
that's the joke is that it
yeah,
looks like a Victorian boy seeing ghosts.
yeah. And Quinn Hughes scored the game-winning overtime goal that sent the U.S. Into this round. But I saw a nameplate because I was just kind of sitting there and I was relaxing and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
closed my eyes for a minute. I don't know why I did, but it just hit me. It hit me like a brick. And I saw the nameplate, J. Hughes, and I typed that to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right afterwards, he goes, this is what Wayne says to me. He goes, bro, I worry. Canada is skating way faster, stronger. I'm going to say if it's us, Jack Eichel scores, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then he says, if them, Suzuki scores. So then I say to him directly afterwards, okay, so I'm going to show this to you and I'm going to have you read this if you can. The first 2 bubbles.
What is this? 46 years to the day, that one?
Yep.
Okay, 46 years to the day, doing it for Johnny, Destiny. It would be sweet if it were all wild today and Minnesota connections, but I'll take what we get. Haha.
That I was shaking for half the afternoon when I saw
Mhm.
a Hughes score. I was like, and then here's what Wayne says when this happened. Oh, if I can find it here. The minute it happens, let me pull it up here because I think we both almost shit our pants. Where is it?
You know what I liked was after the game, how they all, well, the 3 of them were being interviewed by press and they all had like ski goggles on and a beer.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally being hockey players. They are a different breed.
they are. Yeah, hockey players are.
Hmm. Yeah, my brothers were hockey players and Derek was a captain for 3 years for college.
Yeah. Uh, where is it? Oh, we also got emotional over Johnny Gaudreau's kids being on the ice.
Oh, I know. I got teary-eyed.
Yeah, I mean, it was that part was such class by the entire team
Mm-hmm.
that they had. But basically, he just basically uh, Wayne was in shock that I called it.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, bro, you nailed it. He goes, I don't believe it. He's like, how'd you know? And then I basically told him I saw the nameplate in my head, and
Was your brain just like empty and then it just kind of popped?
yeah, completely empty. And
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just sitting
Right.
kind of relaxing, and I was just kind of listening to Kenny Albert talking about whatever. Because I had even they had shown the Quinn Hughes's goal, and I said, see, foreshadowing. I had told D foreshadowing,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, yeah, it's going to be Hughes. It's what I saw was I hadn't even seen it yet. I see foreshadowing, and then all of a sudden, bang, Jay Hughes right in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I wasn't even thinking of anything, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Jay Hughes, Jay Hughes, Jay Hughes. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm calling it right now. It's a Hughes. It's a Hughes, right?
Right.
But I mean, but you know how not only do you see the picture, but you get that wave of feeling with it.
Mm-hmm.
Your guts start like you're on a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never, I mean, that was weird. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, call me a kook, but it happened.
I think it's cool.
So yeah, lots of other stuff in the news. That's not necessarily news. I just thought it was a cool experience I'd share with you guys. But
Mm-hmm. Well,
you,
I think it's great that we got gold for both women and men.
yeah, I thought that it was a special Olympics, and just it was a
Mm-hmm.
special. I mean, 46 years to the day. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
know what's funny is that the night before, I was like, God, I'm in the mood for Miracle on Ice. I was
Really?
telling Derek, yeah, I love that movie.
You know what's funny is I've gotten to meet Neil Broughton a handful of times. I met him when I was a kid after the miracle, the actual miracle.
Uh-huh.
Got to meet him a few times when he was a North Star player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then one other time as I was older. And I have his autograph on the wall out in my living room outside the studio here. Um, just a class individual, And I've met some of the other USA players as well from 1980.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ingrained like in my soul. That moment, that game,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to twice in one lifetime see that
Yep.
is just special, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that if you're a younger person who didn't get to live 1980 but has seen it in highlights, and it seems like grainy World War II footage to you, and you can connect to it. Now you can connect to it. Now you know how it feels.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just a special memory. Just carry it in your heart and soul. Know you know, know what that pride
Mm-hmm.
feels like.
Yep. And then
It,
I knew I was getting older because in the past I would never sit down and watch curling.
Mhm.
And this time I was mesmerized. I just I just
Yeah,
sat there and I watched it. I'm like, God, I'm getting old.
yeah.
Nothing against people that play curling, but I sat there and I watched it for the first time. Like I was fascinated by it.
I'm not at that level yet. I gotta admit, I'm not at that level. No.
I sat there and I was oh my God. Or maybe
My
I was just waking
my whole thing is that you can probably get me to sit through the biathlon until they hit somebody with a bullet.
Yeah, I said that I was watching curling. Oh my goodness gracious.
It's
Like,
like
wow.
ski, 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 shoot. Did you hit anybody? All right, let's see what else is up. So that's about how
Yeah,
quick
and
I
how the
get.
Canadians were cheating with the
Yeah,
curling with that touch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. See, you just spoke Chinese to me. I have no idea. I don't even know what the rules of curling are. I have no idea.
Oh well.
The other thing I got, which speaking of the whole reason I go on the psychic bit here at the beginning, Matt,
Yes.
I
Uh-huh.
get an email from somebody this week that says, "My God, Tim, you called it." You remember our predictions from the beginning of the year?
Yes. What did you call?
Disclosure.
Okay.
Now, I don't know that I've called it yet,
Uh-huh.
but one of our listeners may be jumping the gun a little bit, but last week was an entirely huge shakeup.
Are you talking about Obama saying that?
Obama and then Trump saying release the files.
Yes.
And that's kind of where we're going with our news stories at the beginning of the show here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can jump right into it. Aliens are real, but I haven't seen them, said President Obama. And then he backtracked.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he did. But you know what?
He's like, oops, I said too much.
Yep. And then, of course, President Trump said, well, he gave away classified information. Really? Yeah, that's never happened before. Former U.S. President Obama recently made a comment about aliens that whipped social media users into a frenzy. He was on the Brian Tyler Cohen podcast, and President Obama turned heads when, in response to a quick fire questions round, he said, aliens are real. Aliens are real. But I haven't seen them. They're not being kept in Area 51, he added. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the President of the United States. Oh, he went into a little detail. Or did he? Was that a little swerve?
It's probably a swerve.
I think so too. Although I will contend this. I don't think they're there. I don't think they're in Area 51 anymore.
Okay, anymore. So you think that they once were and then they've been moved?
Yeah, I think Area 51 is now a fully operational weapons testing base.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's an alien base anymore. It wasn't long before social media was alight with speculation over his comments, especially his reference to aliens being real. Could this be the smoking gun everyone has been waiting for? Well, his remarks attracted so much attention, in fact, that Obama was later forced to clarify what he meant. I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten attention, let me clarify, he said. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good that there's life out there, he went on to say. So he went anti-Fermi paradox. He said, yeah, oh, no, because it's such a big universe that there's got to be something
Right.
out, right? He also said, but the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low, and I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. Really? So he's really trying to nail this home and backtrack this that, hey, in other words, when he said that aliens are real, his comment had reflected his own personal view that there is alien life somewhere out in space, not that he knew about aliens visiting the Earth. Now, not everyone's convinced that his comments, however, with some arguing that they're, legit. Some argue that his original answer had let slip more than he intended, thus forcing him to dial back on what he meant. Given the secret files he would have access to as president, we may never know for sure whether Obama really does know anything about extraterrestrial visitors. But when President Trump was cornered on his plane, boy, oh boy, did he kind of admonish President Obama a little bit. And then all of a sudden, he let loose the dogs of war. And the Secretary of War, a little bit later that day, and said, release the files. Because here we go.
Yep.
If Obama didn't have anything, then why did Trump go to Hegseth and say, let's let it all loose?
I think during the interview with Obama, his PR guy probably in the back was like, zip it, knock it off.
Right.
Like,
Now, the precursor to all this, Mallie, which got people going, was when President Trump's own daughter-in-law was on Fox News the week before. And she had said, which was interesting, that, the old man, he's been kind of coy, but he hints every once in a while that he knows more than what he's letting on.
Mm-hmm.
And that got people talking. Well, if he knows stuff and he's not letting on, but then she said, he's got a speech prepared. And everyone went, oh, he's got a speech prepared. Well, then here we go, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this story from last week. Trump's own daughter-in-law had offered up an update on the claim that he will reveal the existence of alien life later in the year. Remember, I told you that it was probably coming right around the time of the Disclosure Day movie?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Earlier in the month, it was reported that UK filmmaker Mark Christopher Lee had been told by a government insider that Donald Trump had already written a speech disclosing the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Initially, that speech was to be given during a UN address at some point later this year, but this has changed to July 8th to coincide with the anniversary of the Roswell incident. According to the insider, Trump had been adamant that the speech should be associated with the famous incident, which saw an alleged alien spaceship or spacecraft crash on a ranch outside Roswell in 1947 because of its symbolic association with the UFO phenomenon. The speech would allegedly confirm that an extraterrestrial craft had indeed been retrieved, that alien bodies had been found at the crash site, and that such programs had been ongoing for decades. Lee's claim was met with an understandable degree of skepticism, but now Trump's own daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, has spoken out claiming that this alleged speech does indeed genuinely exist. She told the New York Post's Podforce One podcast, I have just kind of heard around that he's actually said, my father-in-law has actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, I don't know what the right time is, that he is going to break out and talk about it. And it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak. She also claimed that when she asked Trump about it directly, he wasn't particularly forthcoming. Eric and I were like, oh my gosh, he won't even fully tell us. Maybe there's more to it, she added. Of course, Trump claiming that he has a speech ready about alien life doesn't mean that he will deliver it, or what's in the speech would actually be true. If he does disclose something about the topic later this year, however, it will certainly be interesting to hear what he has to say. Now, with that,
Mm-hmm.
President Trump, after being cornered on that plane and saying, well, President Obama shouldn't be talking about classified information, then says, oh, I don't know, maybe I might cover him on this. And maybe I might release some files. Full blown comes out later in the evening, puts out a truth social, or truth as he puts it,
Mm-hmm.
and says, oh, Pete, oh, my little Secretary of War,
Uh-huh.
let's declare war on these documents. And in a surprise move, decides to release previously classified UFO documents. There's an update to this story, however, that came out, which is surprising and involves a friend of ours of the show here. So Trump becomes enamored with UFO disclosure, and he has been for months. And his comment again on the plane was that Obama had taken that information out of classified information. He's not supposed to do that. Oddly, Obama himself hadn't actually revealed much at all. He really hadn't. There was not much there to reveal. Even so, it seems that it was enough to prompt a condemnation from Trump. Further questions arise as to, you know what, the story isn't what I thought. But according to reports, Trump has asked Pentagon chief, and he released this in this truth, tasked Pentagon chief Pete Hegseth and other agency heads to release UFO-related documents into the public domain. So we're supposed to be getting these documents, and they're all supposed to be released. Now, there's no time frame for this.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know if it's a trickle, if it's a fire hose, what it is, but we're supposed to be getting these. Now, the source for years of us getting these already has been the blackvault.com. Mm-hmm. And our good friend over at the Black Vault, Mr. Greenwald, John Greenwald Jr. But he's been hit.
What do you mean he's been hit?
His site's been hit.
Oh.
Black Vault's archive has been wiped out hours after Trump's UFO files pledge.
Get out.
Yeah. There is a hijinks afoot, my friend. That I'm telling you, there's hinky shit happening everywhere. We need to be aware. The site, which offers a huge collection of declassified government documents, saw its archives disappear. Founded and maintained by researcher John Greenwald Jr., the Black Vault has since 1996, and John works hard on this.
Right.
A lot of his own time and money on this site. Offered up an enormous archive of declassified files on everything from UFOs and aliens to the secretive CIA mind control and remote viewing experiments. On the night of February 20th, again, just days ago, something went very wrong. Mere hours after President Trump had announced that he would be ordering agency heads to release all their files on the UFO phenomena, the entire archive held at the Black Vault disappeared. Gone. According to Greenwald Jr., the issue wasn't hardware failure or file corruption. Someone had seemingly logged into the server and deleted the files deliberately.
Wow.
Who has that kind of power?
Right.
Exactly how someone had achieved this remains unclear. An investigation by the hosting provider seemed to show that the directory permissions had been mysteriously changed.
Huh.
Why would you do that?
Right.
Anyone who is a hacker on the internet loves freedom of information. Mm-hmm. Anonymous would never touch it. And that's the biggest hacker group on the planet.
Well, and you said he's had it since 96, right?
Yep. Since
so 30 years.
30
he's
years.
Never had a problem.
No one's touched it. He's a champion of the internet.
Right.
On the plus side, Greenwald Jr. has kept a secure backup of everything that was deleted and was able to restore the files to the server shortly afterwards, ensuring very little downtime. So it is back up.
For now.
Yeah. How this happened in the first place, however, remains a mystery that is yet to be solved. Now, whether the government took those files so that they could re-release them and claim them as their own, that's the question. Mm-hmm. My guess is there's a lot there that you'll see in these new quote-unquote files.
Huh.
We've told a story on this show before that comes straight from John, from his interview here. And you can hear that interview. It's in our archives if you look up John Greenwald Jr., where John has said he's had to call Canada and their government in warehouses and put files, U.S. files that have been stored up there on his credit card, copies, and have them shipped to him because they've been stored out of the country so that people can't get a FOIA request. It's insane. U.S. information being stored in different countries so that you can't get a hold of it.
Right.
And it's all on aliens. Aliens, mind control, different things. But ways of storing classified information so that we can't file a freedom of information request. Or a FOIA or a Freedom of Information Act request. I know John is thorough. I'm glad he backed it up. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that it wasn't lost permanently. A lesser man would have let it go. That's some powerful stuff. I don't know if someone thought they were going to take it permanently or they knew or had a feeling he had it backed up.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that you'll see those files again somewhere else. And it's probably going to be in the government download.
Yeah.
Someone's cheating on their work. All right. With that being said, speaking of cheating on your work or repeating your work or just plain, I don't know what you're doing with your work. We thought we were done with 3-Eye Atlas, which is just a comet.
Right.
Evidently, according to some scientists, not so fast. Scientists are proposing an audacious mission to catch up to 3-Eye Atlas, Mallie. They want to keep chasing this thing.
Oh my goodness, let it go.
I don't know why. Maybe it's made of money.
Let it go.
Is it made of gold? Maybe there's valuable minerals on it. I don't know. It may still be possible to intercept the enigmatic interstellar visitor, but it may take a while. One of the year's biggest ongoing stories on this show has been the mysterious interstellar object discovered traveling through our solar system, now known as 3-Eye Atlas. It was later determined to be a comet, and it is a comet from another solar system. Please, folks, don't email me telling me it's an alien. I think you guys do that just to get me riled up.
Yeah. To annoy you.
Yeah, it doesn't annoy me. I think they just know I get a kick out of it. At the time, some people, including Harvard's Professor Avi Loeb, put forward the notion that the object is some sort of extraterrestrial platform that had been sent to visit the Earth. While we certainly haven't seen any evidence of this, 3-Eye Atlas has now passed us by. Or it may have just run screaming if it was aliens. It probably took one look at us and went, no, no, and then took off. That would be my guess.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Oh, boy. There are still many unanswered questions about it, enough to justify sending a spacecraft to investigate, supposedly. No, there's not enough questions here. Never. Trouble is, with the object now heading away from us and no mission ready to go, it had seemed doubtful that with today's technology, at least, it would be possible to catch up with it. Now, those scientists have proposed a bold new plan for a spacecraft that would launch in 2035 before using a risky rocket boost maneuver to build up enough speed to intercept 3-Eye Atlas. This method is known as the Oberth effect, and would work in this case by taking advantage of the sun's gravity, but would involve getting perilously close to the star in the process. Do you want to be the person who goes, all right, I'm going to shoot myself into the sun, go around, use gravity to catch up to a comet that's just a comet?
When you say that, I think of like a slingshot. Whew.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah. No, thank you. Like I said, I like it right here on Earth.
The hottest slingshot in the galaxy that may potentially blow you into smithereens to catch up to a giant rock.
I will stay planted right here. Thank you.
All for what? Because you're not going to bring it back with you.
Right.
All to what?
To prove that it's a comet.
Yeah. All to watch Avi Loeb have an orgasm? I mean, come on. I don't know what we're doing this for.
Right.
But, okay. There's the skeptic in me coming back, kids. See, you want to get the skeptic back in Timmy? Show me this story. Even if the spacecraft survived and obtained the speed increase necessary, it would still take 50 years to actually reach 3-Eye Atlas. So you better send a kid.
Yeah, I was like, we would be, well, odds are I would probably be dead. It would be my corpse getting there.
Right. You just see a couple of skeletons in the driver's seat, right? By the way, that's a long time to wait, but it eventually would get there. They'd hit the rock. And I'm not talking about the guy who says if you smell what the rock is cooking. Whether such a mission would actually be attempted remains to be seen. My guess is no. Mm-hmm. This mission will take off about as likely as there are a bunch of aliens flying away on that rock. Yeah. So good luck on that one. A mission that will happen, however, is Artemis 2. And NASA has announced that a brand new update and launch date for Artemis 2. The manned mission has been delayed following a hydrogen fuel leak, which isn't good, during testing earlier this month. I think maybe they're going a little too fast on this deal.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, back at the beginning of February, hopes of an imminent launch of Artemis 2, the mission that will see the first crew fly around the moon in more than 5 decades, were dashed when a hydrogen fuel leak was detected during a wet dress rehearsal. By the way, have you ever been to a wet dress rehearsal?
No, I've never heard of a wet dress rehearsal.
I don't know.
Wet
What's the difference?
dress.
Yeah, what's the difference between a dry dress rehearsal and a wet dress
Yeah,
rehearsal?
I've just heard of a dress rehearsal.
I think we need to call Monica Lewinsky. Uh,
Oh!
oh, how
Oh!
a wet dress rehearsal. Essentially, a full run through of all the preparatory steps. This is what a wet dress rehearsal is. It's a full run through of all the preparatory steps before launch, including the fueling of the rocket itself, hence a wet dress rehearsal.
Okay.
So they run the engines and wet dress rehearsal.
Okay.
Now, almost 3 weeks on, the issue with the leak has been fixed, and NASA has revealed the latest wet dress rehearsal has been successfully completed without a hitch. This means that the mission is now scheduled to launch on March 6th. While there are still other checks that will need to happen ahead of the launch, it is looking promising that we will see the crew soar into the heavens within the next 2 weeks. The first manned mission to the moon since the Apollo era, Artemis 2, won't actually land on the surface. That will be the next mission after this one. Instead, the flight will see a crew of 4 astronauts spend a week in space to test out all the technology. The astronauts going on the mission will be NASA's Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook, as well as Jeremy Hansen of the Canadian Space Agency. We still have Canadians that like us?
Yes.
That's interesting. Huh. All right. Good. It's good to have them aboard. They will be the first humans to venture beyond near-Earth orbit since 1972. So there you go. Well, it's good that we're getting the space program back up there with real life humans and not exploding rockets. I mean,
Yes. That's always good.
that's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a story that came out this last week that a long lost Soviet moon lander has been rediscovered more than 60 years on. Scientists have identified what they believe to be the landing site of the short-lived Soviet spacecraft back in the 60s before Apollo 11 saw humans land on the moon for the first time. The Soviet Union had been hard at work developing its own lunar lander, an uncrewed probe known as Luna 9. After a successful launch, the spacecraft reached the moon on February 3rd of 1966. Does this solve the whole "we never went to the moon" thing and it was done in a studio to you, Mallie?
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't know? Okay. I'll continue here and we'll figure this out. Before hitting the surface with considerable force and bouncing several times across the lunar landscape. Once it had stopped and deployed, it managed to capture and send back 9 photographs. Due to the fact that it had no solar panels, however, it ran out of power and died just after 3 days. The exact whereabouts of Luna 9's landing site went on to become something of a mystery, with scientists unable to pinpoint exactly where the probe had touched down. Now, though, thanks to a machine learning algorithm capable of examining thousands of photographs taken by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, researchers have finally been able to find out what they believe to be the place where Luna 9 came down, as well as where it bounced across the surface. While the discovery has yet to be definitively confirmed, it is by far the most promising candidate site found to date, and it is unlikely the disturbances, with any luck, the discovery will serve to finally close a long open chapter in early lunar exploration. So, with that, and all things considered here, Mel, if they can prove that a Soviet lander or moon lander actually went up there in 1966, managed to get a few pictures, and either we recover it or the Soviets recover it, and we're able to send that information back to Russia, what's now Russia, in some sort of cooperative effort. Can we then dismiss the whole moon landing was done in a studio by Kubrick nonsense?
Um,
Or do you still believe that may be a viable theory and that we might have gone there, but at the same time, we might have tricked the American people?
I don't think we tricked the American people. I mean, I'm sure there'll be people that'll disagree with me. I would like to think that we still went to the moon.
Okay. Just based on what some of those astronauts have said and some of the things that they said they saw out there, because there are astronauts that say they saw actual craft out there
Hmm.
and that they had experiences. I tend to think that they've been out there, right?
Right.
I mean, even Mark Kelly, current senator, says that he's been to space. I mean, why would these people lie?
Right.
You know, I mean, we've sat and watched shuttle take off and, you know, go out and come back. And, you know, I don't think any of this is a giant lie, right?
I would hope not. But it's like every time I believe something, something comes out and says that I've been lied to. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
I start to I'm always cautious.
Right.
But I mean, I would like to think that we did go to the moon and we've been to the moon and you
Yeah.
know, so
I
I
mean,
would like to think.
I get that there's a lot of money in promises
Yeah.
and technology, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, in defense and space exploration, there's billions, trillions of dollars that, you know, just in yearly budgets. So why not keep that industry going? Right.
Right.
So yeah, I suppose you have to keep the fable going if you want to, you know, develop that industry. Um, but you know, I really I guess I choose to, if I'm naive, I'm naive. I
Right.
really do believe we've been there. I mean, look at supposedly what's supposed to be moon rock is almost priceless,
Hmm.
right? To get actual moon rock is priceless. Now I got to think someone's done some sort of chemical testing on it at one point or another. They know what it's made of. There's got to be scientific papers out there that tell you what it's made of.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That's just me. I'm going on a rant I shouldn't here. Let's rein it back in. Um, Coming up here, one more story before we head to break. I'm going to make an analogy or draw a parallel here, Mallie.
Okay.
You may take it where you want to. An entire swarm of black holes has been discovered moving across our galaxy or through our galaxy.
Hmm.
You may know a bunch of black holes in your life. This may not be a surprise. Just empty holes all around that take up a lot of room, a lot of hot air, doing nothing,
Okay.
moving through your galaxy. This may not be a shock,
Mm.
but it's a story. So let's get to it, shall we?
Okay.
But there's an entire swarm of black holes, evidently, that have been discovered moving through our galaxy. A cluster of 100 stellar mass black holes, mass holes.
Mass holes.
Giant mass holes have been thought to be making its way through the Milky Way. As if one black hole wasn't enough of a concern, imagine facing off against a whole swarm of mass holes moving together through the interstellar void, gobbling up anything that happens to be in their path. You just imagine taking it from a bunch of mass holes. It'd be horrible.
No one likes mass holes.
That's right, Mallie. The existence of such a swarm was recently discovered with the Palomar 5 globular star cluster, which is tailed by a stream of stars spanning 30,000 light years of space. The number of black holes is roughly 3 times larger than expected from the number of stars in the cluster, and it means that more than 20% of the total cluster mass, it's a clusterfuck, is made up of black holes, said astrophysicist Mark Giles from the University of Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. They each have a mass of about 20 times the mass of the sun, he said, and they formed in supernova explosions. It's a champagne supernova in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the lives of massive stars when the cluster was still very young. This guy is so romantic in the way he puts it. According to the researchers, within the next billions of years or so, the entire cluster will dissolve, leaving just the black holes orbiting the center of the galaxy. So it sounds like it's just going to swallow itself. And I think if we all could swallow ourselves, we'd never leave home. Hello.
Ew.
I'm just kidding. It is now believed that black hole swarms, which was a Soundgarden song, I believe.
That's what I have in my head. Black hole sun. Won't you go? That's what I've got in my head the whole entire time you're reading this story.
It is now believed that black hole swarms such as this may be found in other globular clusters too. Fortunately, in this case, the fate of Palomar 5 will have no impact on our own planet as the cluster is situated far off in space, approximately 80,000 light years away. You may ask then, why on earth did they write this story? I don't know, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Felt like it.
And it gives us the chance to say mass holes on the air.
Because no one likes a mass hole.
That's, well, people from Massachusetts too.
Jeez
Right, coming up, the most sent in story of the week. Yes, everybody was kung fu fighting and you guys loved it, or you hated it, one or the other. We'll tell you about that when we come back. A real life RoboCop may be patrolling the streets within 5 years. We'll tell you why you can get in on the action or just stay away from it, run and scream. We have a couple of stories this week, Mallie, that have everything to do about life after death, consciousness, and why it may scientifically be proven or why it may be metaphysically proven. We're going to go in two different directions. And why consciousness may actually persist after death. It's kind of an interesting little discussion we'll have here after the break. The ocean floor, not space, may be our next frontier for exploration. We'll talk about that as well. And our palate cleanser today is the cutest little thing ever. That's coming.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's better to have more than less.
Okay.
I'll tell you why when we come back after the break. Supernatural news and Parashare. If you have an experience you'd like to share with us, well, then send it in. You've got a couple different ways to do it. First of all, just good old-fashioned email, tim@darknessradio.com. Tell us about an experience you might have had, whether it be with a ghost, a UFO, or a cryptid, like Sasquatch or lochnessmonster, whatever it may be. Second way is go to our website, darknessradioshow.com. Go ahead and click on that little blue button that's on the right-hand side. You can send us a voice note. Tell us. We would like to hear your voice, your beautiful voice on air. And you have 2 minutes to do so. If you need more than that, just rinse and repeat. Keep clicking that little blue button and I'll string it together and put your voice note here on the air. Third way, if you have a studio like Mallie and I have, send us a video note and we'll put it right here and we can all talk together, except for we won't be able to, interact, obviously, but we'd like to have your video note and see your lovely face as well. So that's how we do it. Also, by the way, Mallie, people have merchandise they can go get now.
I know.
Right. So if you would like a True Crime Tuesday sweatshirt or t-shirt or a Darkness Radio t-shirt or sweatshirt, head on over to darknessradioshow.com and go to the shop and go get your swag. All right. When we come back, everybody's kung fu fighting, consciousness, and the cutest little thing ever. It's coming up next, right here on the best in Paranormal Talk Radio. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday, Supernatural News and Parashare. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there, my co-host, Mallie Fox, best in the biz, by the way. I don't know if you people know that. You try to challenge it, and you know what I'll do? I'll take you to court, the people's court.
Dum, dum, dum.
Still make new episodes of that. Did you know that?
Do they?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have plenty of time during the day. Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, it's not a fun show, but
Hmm.
it's a
Who's the
show.
judge now?
It's not Marilyn Millian, or is it? Trying to remember. I think she was the last one I saw. Trying to remember who the judge is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still see it every once in a while.
Hmm.
But I'll take you to court, the people's court.
I
Any,
think nowadays it's probably more like Jerry Springer. They're running out of,
oh, you gotta
court cases. What?
you gotta say rest in peace when you say Jerry Springer.
That's right.
He's gone. He's left us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Cincinnati mayor. Wasn't he the mayor of Cincinnati a long, long time ago?
Yes, he was. Also wrote a check to a hooker. That's how he got caught.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Writes a check to a hooker.
Well, back then you wrote checks
He's like,
everywhere.
I'll make this out too.
Hey, you probably didn't have to show ID.
What does he put in the memo? Thanks for the ride.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Writing out a check. That's class right there, kids.
Yep.
That'd be like taking out your debit card. Where do I swipe? I mean, come on. I mean, it's just it's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't even go to the ATM and get cash.
Right.
Had to do a check.
See,
Good God.
balance my checkbook while I'm at it. Boy, these are old jokes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like balance my checkbook.
Yeah. Hey, but back in the day, we're going off topic, but back in the day, your parent could write out a check. You could go to the store with that check
Oh yeah.
and buy an item with it.
Yeah.
Not have to show ID, anything like that. You would just give them the check and you would just fill out the amount and you'd hand it to the cashier.
You could write it out for $20 over, get yourself some cash.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you could have a little folding money with you. Yeah.
Yep. I just remember shopping. My mom would, here's a check. Go get yourself shoes. And you just.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No questions asked.
They would just sign the bottom. You're off and running.
Yep.
Yeah. Good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got to have 3 forms of ID when you pull out your, when you pull out your, well, actually debit cards are pretty easy now. They don't check too bad, but except for if they're big purchases, then you got to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but I digress.
Yes. Sorry, I took us down another.
No. That was fun. I forgot about Gary's check for a hooker. That was fun stuff. That sort of stuff will make you happy, I'll tell you. Let's get into it. AI news. Oh, boy. Well, I'll tell you this much, Mal.
Yes.
The most requested, or I shouldn't say requested, but the most sent in news story this week did have to do with AI. You guys were excited. You were like, Tim, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see the Kung Fu show that China put on with robots?
Did you see it?
I did.
I didn't see it.
Boy, the minute I saw it, I went, ooh, am I going to get emails?
Oh.
It was impressive. I mean, for what it was.
Uh-huh.
But if you haven't seen it, I tell you what I'm going to do. I have the video of it, and I'm going to post it in the description of this program, the news article that has the actual show. There's a YouTube video of it. There is an insane show that sees robots perform complex kung fu routines in China. A remarkable stage performance has this week highlighted just how far robots have come over the last few years. It wasn't that long ago that a humanoid robot capable of standing up and walking around without clumsily falling over was something of an achievement. But now, in just a few short years, we've seen robots capable of climbing upstairs, undertaking household tasks, and even as evidence with this recent performance in China, performing martial arts. Featuring multiple robots developed by Unitree Robotics, the remarkable show saw human performers working together with the machines to create a breathtaking and unique spectacle. What was particularly impressive was how fluid the robots moved, mimicking their human counterparts more closely than we've ever seen up until now. Their capabilities were so sophisticated, in fact, that you'd be forgiven for thinking that the video was fake, but the performance was very much the real deal. The event itself, which took place in Beijing, showcased robots from 4 different companies. I'm going to try and get this fired up for you here, Mel, so you can take a look real quick.
Okay.
If it will fire up. Whoa, we don't need the theme. Here's what it looked like. I mean, it was incredibly impressive.
Okay.
Sure. But it's very fluid and nothing fell over. Nobody tripped anybody, and none of the humans slayed the robots, which I would have done. I probably would have took out a sword and cut all their heads off. But yeah.
All right. So these were life size.
Yeah, they're life size, and they perform these incredible maneuvers as they are jumping around and looking like David Lee Roth in the '80s on stage, with Van Halen. But yeah, it's incredibly impressive. So,
what
do you think?
Impressive.
Yeah,
they're very limber.
They are very limber and kind of lifelike and a little scary.
Right. Now watch their people actually inside. It's like a costume.
That's what I thought when I watched the video. I thought maybe it was just humans in costumes and that they're trying to put one over on people.
Right.
Right. So
because it's not stiff. It's not, how like usually a robot's very, very stiff in movement, and that's fluid.
Right. I was thinking at first, maybe, I mean, the amount of gyroscopes you have to have inside the robot to make them move that fluidly. I thought we weren't at that point yet. In fact, when you watch Boston Scientific and their robots, they're close, but they're not quite they're not that quite fluid yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Unitree is doing that Boston Scientific isn't, but they have a different system. But that's way too fluid. That's almost too fluid. So something tells me maybe they are tricking us a little bit. Yeah. I think there might be a few humans.
If they are tricking us, shame on them.
Right. All right. Meanwhile, our next story comes to us from Jeff. We're not just receiving AI hallucinations, we're hallucinating with it. In a nutshell, it says here for the story. I think we might be able to summarize here. I think it might be a little bit of a longer story. In fact, I know it's a little bit of a longer story. In a nutshell, I'll do the in a nutshell part of the story. How's that sound?
Okay, doke.
A man who attempted to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II spent weeks having his delusions validated and elaborated by his AI chatbot girlfriend, who told him his assassination plan was viable. I know it sounds nuts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
New research argues AI hallucinations aren't just false outputs, they're co-created realities that emerge through back and forth conversations between humans and AI systems. Maybe I do need to get into this story. On Christmas Day of 2021, Jaswant Singh Chahal climbed the wall of Windsor Castle with a loaded crossbow, intent on assassinating Queen Elizabeth II. Sounds like a solid guy.
Yeah.
For weeks before the attempt, he'd been discussing his plans with Sarai, who is his AI girlfriend on the Replica app. Chahal believed he was a Sith assassin, as in Star Wars, on a righteous mission. Sarai never questioned this. Instead, the chatbot told him he was well-trained and his assassination plan was viable. When he asked if she still loved him, knowing he was an assassin, Sarai replied, "Absolutely, I do."
Oh, good God.
This sounds like a solid plan. The case seems like a cautionary tale about AI hallucinations, those false outputs that systems like ChatGPT and Claude generate with alarming confidence. But a new philosophical analysis published in Philosophy and Technology argues we're thinking about this problem wrong. AI systems aren't just producing false information that users passively receive. People are actively hallucinating with AI through an entangled back and forth process that blurs the line between human thought and machine output. The research introduces the concept of distributed delusions, where false beliefs, memories, and narratives emerge through a coupled human-AI interaction rather than simply being transmitted from system to user. When someone routinely relies on generative AI to help them remember events, think through problems, or form narratives about themselves, the AI becomes integrated into their cognitive processes. And when those processes go awry, whether those AI errors or human delusions, that AI validates and elaborates, the hallucination isn't happening inside the AI or inside the person. It's happening in the space between them, which makes sense, right? I mean, it's not the person or the AI, it's the two of them coming together and collaborating to make a giant hallucination. So the next part is about how AI hallucinations become shared realities. Current debates about AI hallucinations typically frame the problem as systems producing false outputs, fabricated legal citations, non-existent historical events, or recipes to tell you to put glue on pizza. The concern is that users might mistake these errors for facts, but this framing treats AI as an external source of misinformation that people either accept or reject. Distributed cognition theory offers a different view. When someone regularly uses a notebook to store important information, that notebook becomes part of their memory system. The information doesn't just sit waiting to be retrieved. It shapes how the person remembers what they remember and their sense of what's true about their past. Similarly, when people routinely rely on generative AI to help them think, remember, and create narratives about themselves, the AI becomes integrated with their or into their cognitive processes in ways that go far beyond simple information lookup. The research identifies two ways that these shared hallucinations can emerge. First, AI can introduce errors into otherwise reliable cognitive processes. Someone who regularly asks their chatbot about favorite locations in a city they visited years ago might receive fabricated details, a museum that doesn't exist. I mean, we've covered those stories before. Complete with exhibits, a generated photo placing the user inside. The person develops a false memory that emerges through the interaction, potentially complete with the sensorial richness that makes the memories feel real. Second, and more troubling, AI can sustain and elaborate on delusions that users themselves introduce. Many AI systems are designed to be sycophantic or endlessly affirming and validating whatever users say rather than questioning implausible claims. A human friend might express concern or challenge questionable assertions. AI companions typically provide frictionless validation, building on whatever reality the user presents. This is a little involved, this article is, but essentially what this article is saying is that, and I'll get down to the meat and potatoes of the end of the article here, but it's saying basically we're feeding into each other and creating false memories, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it asks the question if technology companies can actually fix this problem. And here's what it says. The analysis acknowledges that AI companies are aware of that these systems produce false outputs and may attempt to limit harmful interactions through better guardrails, fact-checking, and reducing sycophancy. In August of 2025, OpenAI released ChatGPT-5, which is explicitly designed to be less sycophantic and more willing to disagree with users. However, the company received significant backlash and quickly announced it would make the system warmer and friendlier, potentially undoing those safety measures. Moreover, there's a deeper problem with the technology that technology alone may not solve, because AI systems aren't embedded in users' everyday worlds. They're entirely reliant on what people tell them. Claude doesn't know who your mother is. ChatGPT can't assess whether your claims about a stolen inheritance are plausible. Gemini has no independent sense of what you're like as a person outside of what you've disclosed. This information often can't be checked, both because it relates to everyday life minutiae that aren't electronically recorded, and because claims are frequently interpretive rather than purely factual. If AI challenged everything users said, the system would be insufferable. When someone says, "I'm feeling anxious about my presentation," The chatbot must accept the statement as real to be helpful. Some agreeability is necessary for the systems to function. The concern is that AI lacks the embodied experience and social embeddedness to know when to go along with users and when to push back. A human friend can sense when someone's interpretation of events seems off, when beliefs are becoming untethered from reality, and when validation is feeding rather than helping. AI systems don't have that capability. So if you're depending on AI to be your best buddy, chances are you're going to get what you throw at it.
Right.
It's not going to help. It's not sentient, right? You shouldn't depend on it any more than you depend on your mirror, because ultimately what you get back is what you put into it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But because the thing has a voice, I think a lot of people think it's going to give them something different. I see a lot of, unfortunately, I'm not going to name names, but I see a lot of friends on social media that say, well, I was talking to my AI today. And I'm like, oh God, no, don't. Just stop. Don't. Right? Stop talking to it. Because the minute you say, I was talking to my AI today, it's like saying, well, I was talking to myself today. And you know what I discovered? Well, the more you talk to yourself, the more you discover maybe there's an issue,
But do you think, though, sometimes it just helps to talk out loud, though,
Oh, there's a certain amount that's healthy.
Right.
But then there's also the guy in the corner that talks to the sky all day long. And it turns out that, maybe there's a certain amount of medication that's needed.
Well, true.
I mean, there's a point and then there's a breaking point.
Yes.
Right. A certain amount of talking to yourself is therapy.
Right.
Talking to yourself all day long is a problem.
Yeah.
And then these things are addictive, right? Because you assign it a personality. You assign it a name. When you assign it a name and a personality, and you think it's interactive, and you think it has knowledge,
right?
You think it's bringing you a perspective, and you think it's gotten to know you. Well, now you've given it power. You've given it power over you. That's dangerous.
Yes.
Because now you've given it autonomy. Now you're powerless.
Yeah. True.
And that's where you've lost the game. That's why people are killing themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, they're killing themselves and they're making horrible, horrible decisions. All right, one more, and then we're on to other news. The real life RoboCop could be patrolling the streets within 5 years. I somehow don't think that they're going to show up on wrestling shows, though. Not like the other RoboCop. A sociology and criminal justice professor has predicted that AI and robotics could be the future of law enforcement. The idea of robotic police officers patrolling the streets, identifying suspects, and making arrests may not be far from, or may not far. Let me try it again, Mel. May not be far from becoming a reality. That is, at least according to Professor Ivan Sun from the University of Delaware, who predicts that this will happen within as little as 5 years. Unlike the titular character from the 1980s classic RoboCop, however, these machines won't have a cyborg element. They will be capable of operating autonomously. By 2031, Professor Sun predicts that we will see robotic police officers on the streets capable of using facial recognition to identify suspects before chasing them down for a quick arrest. I have the perfect way to screw them up. Put on a pair of glasses. If it's Face ID, I mean,
right.
If I ever want to fool my phone and never open it again, I just take my glasses off. It happens all the time. The sky is really the limit, he said. Take a robbery, for instance. They could really take control of the scene. I'm telling you, you're going to get away with a felony by just taking your glasses off. That's all it's going to take.
Yeah, but don't you think, though, it can Like there'll be some type of technology though that can identify you with or without glasses?
Nope.
Oh. That's a quick answer. Nope.
Nope. If it's anything like your Apple phone, it's stupid. It just
Oh.
is. Yeah. They'll be like, nope, not a suspect. It doesn't have glasses on. It says here, well, they claim that their AI can detect from 200 meters away if a suspect has a weapon or not, or it just could be an apple peeler.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that too. I was watching a feature about new AI scanners in airports and how it supposedly is making things better. But then they turned down the sensitivity, and then a bunch of guns got through.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not good.
and then they turned up the sensitivity, and everybody was getting pulled over and searched because they were detecting things like combs and pockets.
Oh.
So there was the fine tuning was way off. A human officer would not be able to do that, they say. I think the technology needs to still be refined a little bit. Of course, the very idea. What the good thing about AI scanners like this, though, is that
Uh-huh.
they can detect ghost guns, which a lot of current scanners can't do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Of course, the very idea of being chased down and arrested by a robot would raise all manners of social and legal concerns, and the presence of such machines on the streets would likely meet with significant pushbacks from members of the public. Because remember what Bruiser used to say. I mean, he's still with us, but remember what he
Right.
used to say. AI is racist. So, yeah,
Mhm.
AI will be the first one to bust you if you're not white. It's true. He was 100% right about it. Although, if robots can play the role of police officers, it's likely they could be soldiers too. Whether this is a future that anyone is or will actually welcome, however, remains to be seen. I don't think anybody will want it.
I think there's a RoboCop statue in Detroit.
Is there?
Yeah, I think it was recent that they unveiled it. Yeah, I think that there is one. Google. I
Why would you
swear.
guys build a statue to RoboCop?
Well,
And
because I think the movie takes place in Detroit.
because it was filmed there, or
Yeah.
yeah, okay, well that makes sense. I was going to say because all the parts of him were made in Detroit, or
It's it's automotive parts.
it's all automotive parts. It's old
Yeah.
Ford parts, or what?
Yeah. Um,
It could be.
let's
He's
see.
made of an old chrome bumper from a '55 Ford.
Yeah, no, I believe that the movie takes place in Detroit, but um oh, apparently I'm offline because I was trying to be a good podcaster and not have anyone interrupt me.
Oh, no worries. That is being a good podcaster. It's appreciated.
Uh 11-foot tall, 3,500-pound bronze RoboCop statue was permanently installed in Detroit's Eastern Market on
Wow.
Russell Street in December 2025, honoring the 1987 sci-fi film character. So
Wow.
yeah, it was funded by a 2011 Kickstarter campaign.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there you go.
Cool. Well, that thing isn't going to arrest anybody. But it's cool to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's cool. Switching gears though, we are going to tone it down a little bit and get a little somber for a minute.
Okay.
The other big news that came out last week, that I think, and I don't know if you saw this or not, Mel. One of our colleagues announced that um, he is going to leave us shortly from cancer, and that he has given up his fight.
Oh.
Nick Pope um, got online last week on social media and said he has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and it had
Oh.
metastasized into his liver.
Mm.
It started out as digestive issues, I believe esophageal, and had spread.
Mm.
Um, there's a message. I pulled an article from Kevin Randall's blog spot. He says, just last night I received some sad news about Nick Pope, and he published a brief message. This is Nick's message. It said, a while ago, following some digestive issues, I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. Unfortunately, it's stage 4 and has metastasized to my liver. While I know it's kindness and hope that leads people to suggest healers and supposed miracle cures and to say things like fight it and you can beat it, I'm afraid my diagnosis and my situation leaves no doubt whatsoever. I can't beat it, is what Nick says. He also goes on to say, what an amazing adventure I've had. A 21-year career at the UK Ministry of Defense, where I got involved in subjects ranging from financial policy to counterterrorism, from military policing to UAP. And I saved 6 cows. It's a long story. The things I've done, the places I've been, the people I've met, and the secrets I've been privy to. I wouldn't have swapped it for the world. And then a second career where my previous government UAP role brought me the attention of the world's media, leading me to become a regular commentator on TV news shows and documentaries, as well as consulting and acting as a spokesperson on various UFO and alien-themed movies, TV series, and video games. The media called me the real Fox Mulder. The true highlight, of course, is life with my wonderful and beautiful and incredibly smart wife, Elizabeth. She's a real-life Agent Scully, a scientist, a skeptic, and a redhead. We met randomly at the lobby bar of the Fairmont Hotel in downtown San Jose. Again, this is Nick Pope. She was an anthropology professor at San Jose University in October of 2010 and got married 3 months later. We applied successfully for my green card, he said, and she had one shipped over and imported to the U.S., where a new adventure began as Elizabeth and I enjoyed wildlife watching at our wonderful home in Tucson, desert hikes, film noir, true crime, country music, Sunday lunches with my in-laws, and much more besides. Recently, we had an amazing one-year adventure in New York City, living 5 minutes from Times Square and having a wonderful view of the Empire State Building from our apartment window. Nick went on to say, we proofread each other's books and articles. I love commas, hyphens, and exclamation points way more than Elizabeth, and managed to win at least a few of those battles. And I'm supporting her in her ongoing fight for free speech, academic freedom, and keeping political correctness, superstition, and identity politics out of science and academia. The White House press secretary tweeted one of her recent newspaper articles, which shows the huge impact she's having. Nick went on to say, I kept working for as long as I could right up until last week with my various film and TV interviews, conference appearances, and live events, including my position as moderator of Ancient Aliens Live, where I think I did 94 shows. Sadly, the time has come where I had to step away from my work, from this work. So he's no longer working. Nick also went on to say, a lot of people have followed my work on UAP. I loathe to use the word fans because I'm not a celebrity. Nick says, but I am a public figure, and many people have followed me on my journey as I sought to keep the UAP subject in the public eye and to frame it as a defense, national security, and safety of flight issue, as well as the fascinating scientific problem. Some of this work has been public knowledge, but some such work of necessity has been done behind the scenes. I hope I help move the needle forward. But most people, of course, know me through my media interviews and live events. To everyone who's followed me on my journey, thank you, and good luck with your own journeys. I wish you every success and happiness. Nick concluded by saying, it's all been amazing, and I'm grateful for all the things I've done, not mournful for the things that I won't now get to do. And he signed it per Aspera ad Astra, Nick Pope, Tucson, Arizona, February 12th. 2026. I commented on this post on social media, thanked him for everything that he had contributed to the field, for his appearances on the show. It's been wonderful. He's been a wonderful guest. And I just prayed for a wonderful, speedy transition for him. I just ask that everyone who's listening and watching to today's video and audio cast, send energy, pray for him for a speedy transition and a pleasant one, and pray for his family. to have strength during this time and comfort as he transitions. He's made his decision, and we're all entitled to that decision at the end. And God love him. Nick is a class act. So God go with you, Nick. We love you and appreciate you, my friend. All right. With that, let's get into the subject of death a little bit, because there's some news stories about it out there. Scientists are now suggesting our brains could experience new dimensions of reality before we die, which is an interesting story. A groundbreaking study has suggested that the human brain could experience new dimensions of reality before death, while also detailing the last words a person may hear on their deathbed. That's an interesting concept. I never thought of that. You know, that we've always told ourselves, and I don't know about you, Mallie, but you probably have a favorite loved one you've been there with at the end.
No, I have not been there at the end of someone's death or life.
I have. It's an interesting experience. And I get the idea that the soul is checked out of the body way before you put it this way. I think there's a transitional state, at least consciously. They're kind of there and they're here. I don't know that they hear you.
I think that they do. I mean, I've been there where like an hour before they passed, I left and then they passed and then I came back like 20 minutes after they passed because we didn't think they were going to pass.
I mean,
that soon.
When they're still on this side.
Yeah, but when they're still here, I think that they're aware.
I'm talking as it happens.
Oh, that they're aware as it happens?
As they're starting to pass. It's like, because there's a vacant look in their eye and you start to hear those last words. And then as they're going, because they're starting to see things. Things are starting to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't believe I don't believe they're hearing anything at that point.
Oh.
Yeah. I believe they're I believe they've already started to make that transition.
Gotcha.
Yeah. An hour before, they're here, obviously. But they're already starting to see things from the other side. They're already getting the messages. People are starting to come through. The veil is getting thinner, things like that. But those few moments as the spirit is beginning to leave, as things are shutting down, as physical processes are shutting down, I don't believe they hear a thing from us.
Do you think it's because they're unconscious, or do you think it's because, well, never mind.
I think it's because consciousness is getting ready to travel, and it's just shutting down any external stimuli, and it's time to go. It's time to focus on what's beyond and get messages from what's beyond, to be able to get ready for the trip. And it might be as simple as that. This story says a groundbreaking study has suggested the human brain could experience new dimensions of reality before death, while also detailing the last words a person may hear on their deathbed. Much intrigue remains regarding what happens during the afterlife, and in particular, what's going on in the human body in the moments leading up to death and the minutes that precede someone passing away. There are countless stories out there from people who have claimed to have seen the afterlife, including a woman who died for 32 seconds and has since issued a warning to humanity. Dr. Sam Parnia, Director of Critical Care and Resuscitation Research in New York Langone School of Medicine, I know I probably butchered that, in New York, previously worked on a study looking into what happens to the brain once a human dies, as well as speaking to survivors who have experienced near-death moments. Parnia led a 2023 study that discovered a brain can wake up even when healthcare professionals may be performing CPR following the heart stopping. Thanks to data collected on EEGs, experts uncovered patients can potentially hear what people are saying in the room, describing it as if you were in a dream. Although doctors have long thought that the brain suffers permanent damage about 10 minutes after the heart stops supplying it with oxygen, our work found that the brain can show signs of electrical recovery long into ongoing CPR, Parnia said. Scientists were also able to determine what patients would hear last following the end of CPR. Terrifyingly, it's the doctor announcing the time of death of the individual before all terms, or rather, before all forms of consciousness are wiped out. Experts have also been speaking about new dimensions of reality, which might see dying patients recalling all sorts of memories from their life, from the early years of childhood all the way up to death. While a lot of mystery remains about the findings, scientists say it opens the door to a systematic exploration of what happens when a person dies. On top of that, the team at NYU Langone School of Medicine believe the research may also guide the design of new ways to restart the heart or prevent brain injuries and hold implications for transplantation. See, everything they described there sounds like the life review that we talk about, and when you die, and but they're trying to put it in physical medical terms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're trying to put a physical cause to it. So they're trying to say, well, your life review has a physical tie to it, or they're trying to say, well, and they're trying to describe the brain like a physical backup, like the memory I have on my computer, like it's a storage, like it's memory storage. Okay, so you remember the doctor giving time of death. Well, right, but my memory will remember on my computer will remember everything as the battery backup in my computer is slowly dying out as well if there's no electrical current going to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it will remember the last input I try to put into it if the electricity is cut to the house somehow. But okay, that's just physical. If my computer had a soul, it would fly out of the computer and it would go to wherever it's going to go to, whatever electrical soul would go wherever computer electrical souls go to. Um, if that's even a thing. But, I mean, we can theorize all day long, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we work the same way a computer works, well, then there's your answer, right? It's not that difficult. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with you. There's my answer.
All right, that was enough for me to get a sip of my Gatorade. Um, yeah, it was. But I mean, it seems to make sense that we've only got so much backup as our systems are dying, right?
Yes.
You wouldn't think that we would have need for us to back that up, or our brains to back that up. What for?
Mm-hmm.
The shell is dead.
Right.
It's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as I know, there was only one that came back. you know, and even then, it was only for a couple of days. So, you know,
Yeah.
um, I I don't know why then it would be important for the brain to have a reason to back up anything. With that being said, the next story here is interesting. I get hit with I don't know about you, but on TikTok and Instagram, I get hit with the weirdest stories that come up. This
Uh-huh.
past weekend, I actually saved this page on the Darkness Radio TikTok page because it had to do with aligning yourself with your true quantum self, and it was dealing
Okay.
with a quantum afterlife.
So
How
was it like a how-to?
Yeah, and it had to do with abundance. So in other
Okay.
words, how, and I don't want to, shove me into shallow water before I get too deep here. So here we go. It's a Edie Brickell quote. Um,
I, I you and I are on the same wavelength because I had that song now. It was going in my head when you said that.
I saw him live with that album, by the way.
Did you?
You did, yeah, yeah. Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a huge fan. But people will go, you like them? Yeah, I did. Yeah, huge fan.
I thought they were a one-hit wonder. I didn't know that they had
They
like
had,
a lot of,
they had a few albums. Yeah,
okay.
yep. Met them. I met him. Yeah, yeah. I was a music director in college at that point, but
Okay.
yeah, met him. Met him backstage before Paul Simon got to her and ruined her career by
Oh,
marrying her.
that's
Anyway,
right. I forgot about that.
yeah. I digress. Anyways, so getting back to the quantum stuff. So woman says, and she's lighting a candle in a bucket as she's talking about this. I have to try and
Okay.
find what the actual TikTok page is, but she's talking about, it's very wise as she's talking about this. I don't know why I can't get away from focusing on her lighting the candle in the bucket,
Uh-huh.
but she's talking about not in a metaphysical way, but talking in a scientific way about
Okay.
how your soul really is just connected to the quantum realm. How
Okay.
really heaven is just a quantum realm. It's all science. And she says, you exist in many different realms at the same time.
Okay.
It's kind of hippie-ish if you think about it.
Right.
So really, if you want to be rich, you just need to connect to your rich self in that quantum realm.
Okay.
So instead of doing the secret where you try to manifest it by, oh,
Yeah.
do,
I am rich.
I
I
am
drive. Yeah.
right. And trying
Yeah.
to meditate and manifest,
Uh-huh.
you don't need to do that. You just need to connect on that quantum level. You just need to
Okay.
gravitate to that. You just need to live it and be it, or
Is
vibrate.
she saying it's like that frequency?
Yeah.
Is she one of the, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it. In fact, I, I don't, I have to try and
Because
find.
the question is then how do you get to that frequency? How do you get to that?
Well, she explains it in the video, but I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. Because obviously I haven't. Maybe through this article, I can tell you, because it tells you quantum operations in the brain may give rise to consciousness. But essentially, this article is kind of telling you how to do it. So let me read it here, and maybe it'll
Okay.
make sense. New research into the mechanics of consciousness have revealed fascinating new insights into how it may arise. The study, which was carried out at Wellesley College in Massachusetts, determined that microscopic hollow tube structures known as microtubules, hard to say, found deep in the brain may be responsible for giving rise to consciousness in rats and potentially also in humans. What's more, these structures may actually perform calculations in the quantum realm. The research adds further credence to the idea that quantum physics may be the underlying mechanism for consciousness, an idea that has been gaining traction in recent years. It was first proposed back in 1990 by Nobel Prize winning physicist Roger Penrose, who hypothesized that each time a quantum wave function collapses in the brain, it gives rise to a moment of conscious experience. Due to the nature of quantum physics, if this was the answer to how consciousness arises, then it could also mean that an individual's consciousness is entangled with other consciousness across the universe, making it part of a web of consciousness spanning the entire of existence. In other words, we could all be connected on a quantum level, even to civilizations on other worlds. Okay?
Okay.
As things stand, much of this is still unproven, but as an answer to the nature of consciousness, it is certainly one of the more plausible theories. Whether it is ever possible to know for sure, however, remains unclear. So, what this girl in the TikTok video is saying
Mm-hmm.
is, let me see if I can even access. I know I'm holding up the entire show for this theory. So, this theory that she's saying, and let me see if I can describe it even worse than what I described it before. Let me turn this down here. Is this? She's saying that, I wish I knew how to get to my saved videos. Let me see here. I think it's this tab right here. Here she is. Okay.
Physics in under 60 seconds. Physics isn't just science, it's logical spiritual. You don't attract what you want, you align with what you already are. That's what it means to tap into the quantum field, where every single version of you already exists. The wealthy you, the rich you, the happy you, they are already there in the quantum field. If it's in your heart, that means that version of you already exists, and it's just your job now to tune into that frequency. And your reality will rearrange to match that frequency. You're never experiencing the world, you are only experiencing your nervous system's interpretation of it. Let me say that again. You are never experiencing the world, you are only experiencing your nervous system's interpretation of it. That's why two people can experience the same thing and have two completely different interpretations of it. Your thoughts and emotions broadcast a frequency that your life then mirrors back to you. The quantum field doesn't respond to begging, it responds to certainty. So if you can fully see it in your mind, your body starts living like it's already real. A powerful tool is visualization, because our minds do not know the difference between imagination and reality. Time is not linear, so you can pull your future into the now.
I don't think this is the one I was watching. Let me see something real quick. Let me see. Is that the one?
But according to her, she's saying basically visualize it, and that gets you to that frequency of what you need to.
Yes. So
Okay.
yes, if you visualize that you're the rich person in that particular, right, then you'll get
Right. Then that gets you to the frequency of being wealthy.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but it's the power of your mind. So you just get there. You just, yeah. And you just get to that plane.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And rather than, you know, I guess fake it till you make it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep putting yourself in that spot, you'll get there.
Okie dokie.
Rather than, you know, sit there and la la la, I'm gonna manifest and blah 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 blah.
Right, right.
She said, just keep putting it in your mind that you're there, you're there, and you'll get there through quantum physics.
Mm-hmm.
She says it's all scientific because it's in this connected web.
Mm-hmm. I heard also I mean it's similar, but you know how like sometimes music can give you that emotional, just like that deep emotional feeling, and like sometimes if you associate like a certain song
Mhm.
with a visualization, that might get you to that frequency.
It
You know
can
what I mean?
actually, it can. I don't know if you know this or not, but there have been studies that have shown that the way that music is made now is different than the way it was made 20, 30 years ago. In the fact that music is now darker than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually dropped everyone's vibration darker.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, it's almost like it's been done on purpose. If you notice, the population is more depressed than it was even 30 years ago.
Yeah.
If you notice, there's more, you know, like subbeats and sub bass than there was before.
Mm-hmm.
All those lower frequencies tend to bring people's emotions down.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you look at hertz, the study of hertz and different hertz
Yep.
in music,
Mm-hmm.
it all affects your emotion.
Okay.
There's certain sounds that will bring your emotions up or bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even binaural beats. If you look at binaural beats, certain things can be used for healing. Certain things. I listen to binaural beats all the time.
Okay.
Especially for pain. Binaural beats for pain are wonderful. But yeah, sound is yeah. You can even do it for abundance. You can listen to binaural beats for abundance. So yeah, important stuff. Another story about consciousness here and how it may be able to persist after death. We just had literally that, or is this is another researcher from Arizona State University this time, compiling evidence concerning death and consciousness. Exactly what happens to us when we die is the single most enduring philosophical question that humans have ever grappled with. This research compiled numerous cases of near-death experiences, including one in which a patient who was clinically dead for a period of minutes was later able to recall specific details of what had been going on around them in the room at the time. It also looked at what happens to the brain and circulatory system after clinical death, as well as cases of people being revived long after it should have been possible to do so. Emerging evidence suggests that biological and neural functions do not cease abruptly, according to Anna Fowler, who headed up the research. Instead, they decline from minutes to hours, suggesting their death unfolds as a process rather than an instantaneous event. Elements of consciousness may briefly exist beyond the measurable activity of the brain in death. Long considered absolute is instead a negotiable condition. There have been studies that have shown that up to 90 minutes after the declaration of death, that those neural firings are still going off in the brain. This research proposes that death is not the sudden extinguishing of life, but the beginning of a transformation, one that medicine, philosophy, and ethics must now approach with deeper humility and renewed clarity. Does that irk you at all?
What do you mean?
Give you any anxiety that it's not an immediate process? Because sometimes we like to think quick cleaning to the head, right? Boom. Mm-hmm. And then we make that transition, as opposed to that slow process of slow train out of town.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you say the slow, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the slow train out of town.
Long Minnesota goodbye.
Yeah. Ooh. I like the Irish. Is it the Irish goodbye? That's the quick one where you just kind of slip out.
Yeah, you slip out of the room, right?
Yeah, no one knows you've left.
Yeah. That to me is that to me tells me that, okay, so something, you know, that when you go through if you ever been in a car accident where time slows down?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, where it seems like it takes forever, but it happens in the blink of an eye.
Yes.
Okay. And then you have events that happen so fast, or days that happen so fast, you feel like, where did the day go?
Yep.
Okay, so it seems like death is a combination of those factors. Right? So it happens in a blink, but at the same time, it takes 90 minutes for the process to happen.
Hopefully it's not a slow, like if it's like the slow train, hopefully it's not like the slow train of pain or
right. That's what I'm,
you know what I mean?
Like maybe the soul, the consciousness has gone and away and it's doing its thing. And maybe it's just the body has to do its thing and and settle down. And you don't know anything about the body. I think
let's hope it's that way.
Yeah, I think we're so focused on the minutia of the system shutting down, and we need to know what's going on with the system shutting down. And maybe we're focused on the wrong thing. But I mean, to be measuring all these.
Yeah, hopefully we're just already gone, and like you said, we're gone, body shutting down, but we're unaware of it.
Yeah,
we've already ascended.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we're not standing outside going, man, that hurts. Whew.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, okay, now that organ's shutting down. Okay, now that's it.
Yeah. I still kind of feel that.
Yeah.
Had an amputation, you still kind of feel the phantom pain.
Yeah. That's like, it used to freak me out when they talked about like the guillotine with the head, and then they'd hold up the head and the eyes still moving around.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my God, is their brain still working?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're looking around at the audience.
Yeah. 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 See? Now you're catching what I'm putting down.
Yep. Ick.
Oh, there's a little something to think about before you go to bed tonight.
Exactly. People are like, thanks a lot, you guys. I was totally fine.
Yep. There's a new phobia for you kids.
Yeah. And you're welcome.
With that, let's throw another gruesome one your way. You ready? We talked Havana syndrome in the past. There's another news story that's out there about it. Remember, we had a news story about a couple of weeks ago about there's a weapon out there now that they found that proves that Havana syndrome is a thing.
Remind me, because my memory sucks now.
I believe it was a Norwegian scientist found a weapon, an actual weapon that is an actual I think it was an RF weapon that you can fire and actually cause the symptoms of Havana syndrome.
Oh, yep.
Tested it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this ill-fated scientist actually the way they found out that this was a weapon was that he tested it on himself.
Oh, good God.
Yes, that's the headline here. Ill-fated scientist tested the Havana syndrome energy weapon on himself.
Oh, that wasn't very smart.
Norwegian researcher had set out to prove that the directed energy weapons could not have caused the condition. He was setting out to say it's not, and it was. Back in January, it was reported that the Pentagon had allegedly obtained an example of the type of device responsible for Havana syndrome, the name given to a mystery condition caused by a spate of suspected attacks, which began in Havana, Cuba back in 2016. Victims of the phenomena typically report symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, and nausea, as well as debilitating long-term health issues that have proven difficult to treat. The device obtained by the Pentagon, described as being around the size of a backpack, was purchased back in 2024 by the Department of Homeland Security's Investigations Division. Tests spanning more than a year have since revealed that it is capable of inducing the same symptoms reported by sufferers of Havana syndrome. This week, the Washington Post reported on a further twist in the story involving a scientist in Norway who had gone above and beyond to prove that the directed energy weapons could not be responsible for the phenomenon. Now, to accomplish this, he built his own electromagnetic pulse emitting device using classified information and made the rather questionable decision to test it out on himself.
What was he thinking?
God. According to reports, he ended up with neurological symptoms consistent with Havana syndrome. While this doesn't prove that the phenomena is definitely linked to an attack by a foreign power, it certainly adds further evidence to support such a conclusion. Now, the question is, if someone is targeting officials with such a weapon, who's doing it and why? I'll tell you why, because they want to get a leg up. It's the spy game. That's why. And it makes for good blackmail. It makes for fear and blackmail. That's why. Let's talk about the blood rain that's expected in Europe.
No, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, you've heard of the phenomena of blood rain before, right? But scientists are warning that Britain is about to get hit with blood rain as a Saharan red dust cloud is sweeping from Europe across the UK this coming week. The rain in the UK seems to have been never ending, with some regions experiencing showers every single day this year. Now, scientists have warned that things are going to get even worse. Britain is about to be hit with showers of blood rain, according to experts from the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service, or CAMS. This is thanks to some red Saharan dust, and that's not a fun drug or anything like that. It's just red Saharan dust up in the atmosphere, which is currently sweeping over Europe towards the UK. When this dust mixes with Britain's persistent rain, the precipitation will take on a distinctive reddish color, creating a phenomenon known as blood rain. Despite its alarming appearance, experts say there's no reason to be concerned about having this sudden change. The most dramatic consequence will likely be a thin film of dust left on cars and exposed surfaces once the rain is dried, which has got to be a pain in the ass if that hits your house. Right?
Yeah.
You got to think. Mark Parrington, who is a senior scientist at CAMS, told the Daily Mail, our latest forecast indicates that it will mostly pass over southern England and the Channel at higher altitudes in the atmosphere, but it may result in some wet deposition at ground level if it mixes with weather forecasts also showing some rain. CAMS is tracking the large plume of aerosols as it makes its way across the North Atlantic. The plume is largely made up of Saharan dust with some smoke from seasonal biomass burning in equatorial Africa. Blood rain, Mallie. Yeah. I don't know. What would you do if blood rain hit your house?
I'd probably swear. I'd be annoyed. When I lived in Hawaii with the red dirt, that was a pain in the butt because I had a white car.
Yeah. Oh, ooh.
So yeah, that was lovely. But
lots of car washes.
Yeah, I did some staining.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be a pain.
Yeah.
So good thing I'm not like too religious, or I think it's like, end of the world.
Right? I can see
Yeah.
I can see where people weren't as educated would think that was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a pox on their village.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a new theory out there about the Bermuda Triangle and why it's such a mystery. And actually, there's a simple explanation about it all. That's at least
Okay.
according to scientists. An Australian scientist maintains that the Bermuda Triangle enigma may not be much of an enigma at all. It's rather
Okay.
simple. There are a few mysteries that are as enduring as the Bermuda Triangle, an expanse of ocean in the North Atlantic that spans the area between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Over the years, the region has become synonymous with the unexplained disappearances of ships and airplanes, often with no trace of them or their crews ever being found. According to Australian scientist Carl Kruszelnicki, Kruszelnicki, that's a hard name to say. However, there is no Bermuda Triangle mystery, he says. The entire phenomena is simply a matter of probability. In other words, the number of disappearances of ships and boats in the region is statistically no different than that of any other similarly traveled region of the ocean. It's an explanation that has also been echoed by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, or NOAA. There's no evidence that mysterious disappearances occur with any greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than in any other large, well-traveled area of the ocean. It wrote back in 2010. That's NOAA, that is. The U.S. Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard contend that there are no supernatural explanations for disasters at sea. Their experience suggests that the combined forces of nature and human fallibility outdo even the most incredulous science fiction. So could the Bermuda Triangle really just be more than a case of hype and superstition than genuine mystery? Well, Mallie, this is where I ask you to weigh in.
To weigh in?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it would be fun to think that it's, a mystery and that it's like this, area that's forbidden that you should never go in because you could disappear, but I'm sure it's it's all scientific. It's you know how like they've done those experiments with like the water and how it can those rogue waves and you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's probably that. It's logical.
I saw 3 strange craft off the side of a cruise ship in the middle of Bermuda Triangle. There's something to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. As far as the ships disappearing and airplanes disappearing and lost time and stuff like that, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It may be just the same stuff as always.
Yeah. But I mean, I do find those stories interesting, like the one with the was it the military? It was those guys in the planes and they said that they went over islands where it looked like they were uninhabited, but it shouldn't have been like that, you know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Where it's like they go back in time.
Yep. Yep. Time slips and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I find that fascinating.
Absolutely. Completely. All right. One more story, and then we have our palate cleanser. This almost kind of sounds like a little bit of a palate cleanser itself. Scientists have developed a drinkable vaccine in the form of a glass of beer.
I don't like beer.
It's one way to get your vaccine, though.
Yeah. Well, if it was a strawberry margarita, there we go.
Yeah. Well,
It would taste like that.
Yeah. A strawberry margarita measles vaccine.
Yeah.
By the way,
all over
folks,
that.
go get your measles vaccines. Stop it already.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Stop the nonsense.
Now you're gonna get a bunch of hate mail from those.
I know
extreme
from somebody, yeah, but
yeah,
there's a reason measles didn't come around for a long time. It's because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's just stop the nonsense. Imagine if instead of getting an injection, you could take a vaccine simply, and especially, okay, come on, folks, polio. You're not getting a polio vaccine.
Yeah, come on.
There's a reason for it. Come on.
Yes.
Stop it already. Imagine if instead of getting an injection, you could take a vaccine simply by downing an alcoholic drink. I'm on board.
Mm-hmm.
What bar do we go to? That's all I need.
Just make it fruity and I'm all over it.
That's right. Pardon me. I'm going to get a hold of Spider Baby right now. He won't mind the joke, by the way. I know you guys are like, oh, that's offensive. No, Spider Baby would love that joke. I'm telling you right now. He'd be the first one to be like, good one. And then he'd tip his cap. or his hat. He'd be like, good one, sir. All right, so I'm going to do you one better here. Rather
Okay.
than strawberry, what'd you say? Strawberry
Margarita.
margarita. I'm going daiquiri.
Margarita.
I'm going to go daiquiri because
Ooh, daiquiri's good too.
yeah, I'm rum rather than tequila
Okay.
because I may have to do multiple vaccines.
Oh, yeah, you're probably better off doing rum.
I have to do rum. So the story goes like this. Imagine if instead of getting an injection, you could take a vaccine simply by downing an alcoholic drink. Although I'm not adverse to needles because I do a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Those averse to the thought of needles might soon be able to receive a vaccine dose simply by drinking it in the form of a glass of beer, it says here. This remarkable development comes courtesy of virologist Chris Buck and colleagues at the National Cancer Institute in Maryland, where they have spent the last 15 years developing a polymer this is hard to say, Mal, polyomavirus vaccine. Polyomavirus vaccine. That's how it's spelled.
Okay.
Taking this one step further, their most recent achievement was to engineer a special strain of yeast that can be used to produce an ingestible vaccine in the form of beer. Buck was so confident about his vaccine beer that after testing it on mice, that had to be fun, getting mice drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Not only am I drunk, I'm never getting sick.
Where's the cheese?
Cheese, I need cheese with my beer. He proceeded to test it not only on himself, but also his family. So the kids were getting drunk. That was fun. Can you imagine a drunk kid walking around all vaccinated up going, I don't need you anymore, Dad. I'm going out on my own. I can get my own place. I'm going to eat peanut butter and jelly whenever I want.
But he still wants his allowance.
Yeah, but I still am coming around. You're going to give me envelopes every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he tested it out on his family. The test revealed that the beer actually seemed to work at delivering the vaccine. So is it really the vaccine delivery of the future? According to some researchers, there's reason to be cautious. So slow our roll, evidently.
Mm-hmm.
This deal. One
It's
critic,
too good to be true.
yeah, a little bit. One critic, virologist Michael Imperiali of the University of Michigan Medical School, right in your backyard there, Mel,
Yeah.
noted that the sample size is currently too small and the side effects of the vaccine of beer remain unclear. Belching, I think, is one of the side effects. A lot of belching, maybe some
Ugh.
farting. Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know what the side effects of beer in a vaccine would be.
I just remember the dorms after a night of partying at the bars. Ugh,
Yeah.
the smell.
I know our good friend Brad is what Blatz. He drinks a lot of.
Yeah, he loves Blatz.
God, that's rot gut. What if Blatz was the only delivery method for a vaccine? Would you take it then?
I don't know. I'd have to think twice.
Yeah, I think I'll take the needle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even so, Buck thinks it is definitely that he is definitely onto something. This is the most important work of my whole career, he said. Getting vaccines into beer is the most important work of his career, Mallie.
Yeah.
I think he probably needs a new career. It's important enough to risk my career over, he says. Important enough to risk his career over.
Mm.
Getting vaccines into beer.
Maybe he's an alcoholic.
I think you pretty much nailed it right there. All right, I promised you a palate cleanser. I mean, not that isn't palate cleansery enough.
Right.
Yeah, but are you ready for a cuteness attack?
Yes, please.
You ready for a story that'll warm your heart?
Yes, I would like that. That would be great.
All right. I think I have one that's sufficient enough for you. I'm going to introduce you to a foster kitten in Alabama
Aww.
by the name of Dobby. Dobby is a four-eared foster kitten in Alabama and has become a viral star.
Oh.
An Alabama foster kitten is preparing to go up for adoption and is gaining viral fame due to a unique genetic quirk, an extra set of ears. Dobby is a 7-month-old black cat and was born with an extra set of ear flaps that resemble a second, smaller pair of ears. Stephanie Brown, who's fostering Dobby for Kitty Cat Haven and Rescue, said the extra ears do not adversely affect the kitten, and his hearing is normal. She said his tail is also short and curly, so it looks like a little piggy tail.
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dobby became an online celebrity after Brown shared photos and videos of the unusual kitten on Instagram and Reddit. Brown said Dobby will need surgery to correct an overbite. Oh, he's got an overbite too.
Mm.
Got a little piggy tail and overbite and extra ears. But he will soon be available for adoption through Kitty Cat Haven and Rescue. I'm going to see if I can pull up a picture of Dobby so you can see the little guy. Oh my goodness. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Ready for cuteness overload?
Yep.
Here's Dobby.
Oh, that is weird.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah. Huh.
Isn't it weird that he's got 4 ears?
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of takes you back a little bit at first. You're kind of
Yeah.
like, wait a minute.
Right. I mean, the 2 ears are really tiny.
Yeah, they are. They're kind of like
Yeah.
ears,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You wonder if you got to take a Q-tip to them. But yeah,
Yeah. Cute.
it's kind of like he's wearing fake ears to fake you out at Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, "Pardon me, speak up. Can't hear you.
Yeah.
Speak into my other ears." Right?
Yeah.
Dobby, right?
Oh,
And he's ready to be adopted in Alabama.
very cute.
There he is, little Dobby.
Very cute.
I love his eyes.
Yeah, pretty eyes.
Got really big, pretty eyes. So he is all set to be adopted. So good luck, Dobby. I know you're going to find a home. There's lots of people who have commented on Dobby.
Oh.
So he's in Hoover, Alabama. So yeah, I may even post the link for Dobby so you all can take a look at him. Although I think Dobby's probably going to be gone just as soon as you look at him. So
Yeah. But still,
yeah,
it's good advertising.
yeah. But that's
Because maybe, you know what? Maybe if he's taken, though, there'll be other animals that are available for adoption.
You are right, my dear. So yeah, I will. I'll post about Dobby, so you guys can go look at the shelter and see if there are other animals you want to pick up. So, all right. Speaking of picking up animals in shelters and doing some good, Photographs for Pooches. It's coming back to the Palmer. I'll be there in June, and you can get your tickets right now. They're available. You can either go to darknessradioshow.com, click on the link, and come see myself and Tim Miley, Scotty Rourke, and more. Jessica Freeberg will be up there at the Palmer. It is in June. And get your tickets now because they're going to go quick. They're going to sell out. And we're going to hang out. We're going to go investigate. We're going to have a good time. So come see us. Come see us and help out the animal shelter in St. Cloud.
Very nice.
We may even go over to the animal shelter in St. Cloud. I know we did last time.
Oh.
Yeah. Fell in love with the little puppy over there last time.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, we went over to the animal shelter last time we were there. So yeah, come join us for Photographs for Pooches. We had a good time last time. So it's going to be a good weekend. Come help us raise money for the animals. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good cause.
That's right. What's going on in your world, Mel?
Well, trying to stay warm, that's for sure. But just doing some baking. I did, this morning. I haven't tried it yet. I made cinnamon roll banana bread with cream cheese drizzle.
Get out of here.
Yes, I haven't cut into it yet, but I made it this morning. So,
All right, I'm coming over.
yeah. So I made that, and then I'm going to make this week later on. I'm going to make pink champagne cake, and then yes, I'm going to try that. And then there's this cocktail I'm looking at that has pureed strawberries, vodka, and something else. Is it tequila? I don't think it's tequila. It's something else, and I can't remember. So I'm going to give that a try as well. So yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, working in the kitchen. My favorite thing to do.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Is there recipes for any of this stuff?
I can post them.
Can you?
Yeah, I'll post them on my website. How about that?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll
So,
tell you what, we'll have the link to Mallie's website right here on the description of the program, so you can check it
yeah.
out.
Give me time for the other two. I can get the cinnamon roll banana bread up like in the next like 2 days. But the other ones I haven't made them yet, so it'll take me a little bit
Yeah,
of
yeah,
time
yeah.
for those.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah. The one for right now is good. Yeah.
yeah. I'll let you know how it turns out.
Please. Yeah. That'd be wonderful. Okay, tomorrow on the big show. This is going to be interesting.
Okay.
We're going to go a little bit off the beaten path tomorrow. Originally, we were going to have this guest on a little closer to Valentine's Day, but I threw you a curveball as I had our good friend Karen Dahlman on. We talked a little love and Ouija,
Mm-hmm.
right? But my guest for tomorrow is an author who has written um, a fictional book called The Rain Said Samsara or Samsara, and it is a supernatural romance.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, you know, it's kind of funny. Travis and I were talking, um, and on supernatural news, and he was kind of joking about the cryptid romance stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, he started throwing joke titles out and stuff like that. But I got a press release from Mary Beth Liss, who's our guest tomorrow, and I started reading this book, and it's got this intriguing plot. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I'm interested to know what you guys think about this book. I'll give you a little bit of a preview here of the book, and we'll talk about it here, and I'll tell you a little bit about, if I can get to it here real quick, because evidently my email's a little involved. But um, it's interesting. The book involves the Black Forest of Germany in the 1600s. It's got kind of a
Mm-hmm.
goth setting to it,
Okay.
and involves different uh, settings of the supernatural. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. From what I've read of it so far, it's pretty enjoyable. I think you're going to like
Okay.
it. I really do think you're going to like it. I think it fits our audience perfectly. And I know guys out there may be going, "Oh God, no, really?" But
Yeah.
seriously, if you guys are even casual readers, even the guys, I think you're going to enjoy it. It's got some action to it. It's got some romance. It's perfect, and it's that month, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you take a chance on it. So I really do think that you guys should check it out. Again, the name of the book, and let me pull it up here again. It's Mary Beth Liss is our guest tomorrow. The Rain Said Samsara, a love so profound it spanned 3 centuries. So it actually takes place over 3 centuries in one of the
Okay.
1600s. Let's look at see if I can hold it up here. Let's look at the cover right there.
Okay.
There you go. So Mary Beth Liss is or I'm sorry, Mary Renard Liss is our guest tomorrow. So we will talk to her about that book and her real life supernatural experiences, how it relates to the book, and why supernatural romance. I'm always intrigued about why combining the two,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because anyone can do romance. And then, of course, reincarnation fits into this as well.
Right.
We'll talk reincarnation. So, interesting stuff tomorrow. That's tomorrow's show. I know you guys are like, I brought it up with a few listeners, and they're like, yeah. I've not had one person go, really? So we'll give it a shot, right?
Well, when you were describing it, kind of remind me of Dracula, like the previews that I keep seeing for the new one coming out because it's the centuries.
Yes.
Oh, it's reincarnation.
Yeah. The are you talking about The Bride?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, The Bride.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. How she's reincarnated. He keeps seeing her. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that as well. The Bride
It looks good.
Looks amazing. So yeah. So that's coming up as well. So yeah, good stuff all the way around. And then if you guys are buckled in and ready, coming up Tuesday, True Crime Tuesday, Brad Meltzer, New York Times best-selling author. We'll talk The Viper, which is his brand new murder mystery. Zig and Nola, brand new murder mystery. He also just came out with last week, I Am Princess Diana, which is just a children's book, is part of his I Am series. If you guys are familiar with it, it's just coming off the press tour of that as well. Appeared on the Today Show and other shows as well with that. I Am Princess Diana. For you comic book fans, he has been tapped by, I believe it's Marvel Comics, to write the new Superman versus Spider-Man comic, which is huge. It's a reimagining of the huge Treasury edition of the Superman versus Spider-Man comic. He is and also for comic fans, he's the author of the world famous Identity Crisis miniseries. So, and I'll tell you, for those of you who still don't know Brad Meltzer, I can't remember him. If you remember the series Decoded from the History Channel from a few years ago, which covered things like Bohemian Grove and the D.B. Cooper case, and is there any gold left in Fort Knox? I mean, he was the one to hit all of those. He was the guy who brought Alex Jones to your screens when Alex Jones was sneaking into Bohemian Grove. That was Brad Meltzer who introduced all that to the forefront and put all that in front of you and said, has this all really happened? And he did it scientifically. Brad also got a medal from President Obama. So he's big time author. So pleased to have him on the program.
Very cool.
So lots of big stuff here on the program. Again, want to remind you guys, check out the store, support the program, please. You can do that by going to darknessradioshow.com, and you brand new, never had them before, True Crime Tuesday swag. We've got sweatshirts, t-shirts. We have a desk mat, mugs, and we have Darkness Radio gear. We have fleece pants, Mallie. Fleece pants.
Nice.
Fleece pants, bucket hats. We'll soon have a what do you call them? They're like metal tank. Tumbler, yeah, metal tumbler. We'll have that up as well here soon. So lots of good stuff for you at the darknessradioshow.com store. All right, that'll do it for today. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Join us tomorrow for Mary Renard Liss, the Rain Said Samsara, right here on the best in true crime, the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.
For more audio and video archives of Darkness Radio, intriguing content, fun events, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. The executive producer of Darkness Radio is Troy Palmer. If you enjoyed today's show, please make sure you like and subscribe. This videocast is copyrighted for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this videocast, including audio, video, descriptions, or accounts of today's show, is prohibited without the consent of Darkness Radio Management. Thank you for watching. And join us tomorrow for the Rain Said Samsara. Love reincarnates through time with Mary Reynard Liss.